All right. Due to my recent travel experiences and the insurgent of all of the PPE that everybody is now currently wearing, I have seen a lot of people wearing PPE incorrectly, and the average citizen does not have any training on it. And unfortunately, I've even seen a lot of quote professionals, restoration contractors, people that specialize in specialty cleaning, all also still haven't figured out how to take off gloves, wear respirators, those kind of things. Right quick, I want to make a quick disclaimer. This is not a professional video, training video, but I am going to show some common mistakes and show a method of which I was trained when I went through EMT basic and EMT intermediate and training that I received from the fire department, and an ongoing training throughout the 35 years of being in the cleaning and restoration industry. I know that there will probably be some comments saying, well, we take off our gloves this way. If you have developed a way and it's working in your company and you can prove that you're not cross-contaminating yourself, then all I can say is that's good. If it's doing its job and is protecting you, then that works. So then continue to do so. I'm going to show you how it's very easy to cross-contaminate yourself, leading to a very large sense of safety. And a lot of people translate the word safer and they forget the ER part to safer, and in their mind they're now safe. So I'm seeing a lot of people exposing themselves in airports, shopping centers, taxis, because they think they're safer. It makes them less likely to be diligent about the things that they're now cross-contaminating themselves with. So I hope this video helps. In all things, be safe. Remember though, nothing beats washing your hands with soap and water. And PPE is the last line of defense. PPE is designed to protect you when all else fails. Also, PPE has a certain acceptable level of potential exposure, especially for the kind of PPE that you guys are going to be wearing. So keep that in mind. Nothing beats staying clean. Then the PPE helps protect you. These next couple of pictures are just showing some hot touch areas. We are using a black light and some glow germ. This is showing the hand before it's got any contamination. This is with contamination on it. Then you touch an area like a door handle, and then you touch it with a clean hand, and you now have cross-contamination. All right, I have a pair of gloves here, and what I'm going to do right quick is just show some of the things, and you can see that I do not have any of the glow germ on these gloves. But what I'm going to do right quick is show a couple of things that I've seen people doing recently, and not just recently, but even in classes where I'm training restoration professionals that have never even practiced taking off gloves. In the fire department, when we do training, in order to put our PPE on, what we call bunker gear, we have to do that in less than 2 minutes. And no one ever gets it right the first time. And it takes a lot of time to do it in order to get it done in less than 2 minutes and have all your gear on correctly. So people are going out and buying gloves and other stuff with zero training under the concept of, I've heard numerous times, well, it helps a little. Well, helping a little doesn't take care of it. It needs to be done correctly. So I see people all the time, and the lady on the plane next to me yesterday did this bit with her thumbs to grab the glove, to pull it off. I see people doing this bit all the time. The whole point of these gloves is to get nothing on you. And then I see people, they'll come and they'll get to about right here, and then they'll do something like this. Now the inside of this glove is now touching the wrist, and then they're trying to pull it. And so what they're trying to do is use the inside of the other glove to protect them, and then they get, and they're trying to do stuff like this, and then it doesn't quite work right, and then they grab right here. Oh, and by the way, now, where is my thumb? It's on the inside of an unprotected part of the glove. So there are probably, like I said in my introduction to the video, There's more than one way that people probably do this kind of stuff. But the way I'm going to show you, and I'm going to actually put blow germ on, you shouldn't be able to get anything on you. And yes, that's an excessive amount. And I have it on here so that you can actually see. And if you turn the black light off, there's enough on here that you can physically see it even without the black light. But the thing of it is, you can't see germs. And you can have a lot of germs on your hands, and you don't have to be able to see it quite this well. But this will allow you to see better of what's happening. So like I said earlier, I see people all the time, they'll reach up, and you can see I have nothing. There is nothing on my wrist right now. I have nothing up my sleeves, okay? And if you come in and you touch and you slide down to grab that glove, you now have contaminant on your hands. If you reach up like this to grab, you now have contaminants on your hands. If you're trying to do something like this and you're fumbling and you do this, you have contaminants on your hand. And I'll rub up here where you can see a little bit better. You can now see that right there. It doesn't take much to get things on you. So that would be an incorrect way. All of those ways will be incorrect to take these gloves off. All right, so when I went through school, and there's a lot of places that you can find pictures and photographs of showing a similar technique. And like I said, I've known some paramedics that had a figure 8 thing that they did and all that kind of stuff. If you got something that when you're done, you do not get cross-contaminated, I'm not telling you that you have a wrong way, other than when you have the germs on you, that's the wrong way. The only way I'm going to ever promote you coming out of PPE as fast as possible is if you're on fire. Well, if you're on fire, well, that's a different story. Life over limb, okay? But you're going to carefully take, and you're going to pull this glove, and you're going to come all the way out of the glove. There's no reason to stop part way through and fumble while trying to use the other glove to get the things off. Then typically what you're going to do now is you're going to take and roll that glove up inside of this glove. Now, if you tip your wrist back a little bit, not all the way, but a little bit, it's going to automatically start to create a gap. That gap is now going to allow me to take my clean finger and press down on my wrist and come under and raise up underneath that glove. Now I'm able to take and roll this glove inside out. Now I can take any of this part right here that has contaminant on it and then fold it in, and you're not going to get anything on you. No glow germ on my hands right now, and if you want to bring the black light down a little bit closer so people can see it, I've got none on my wrists, I've got none on my forearms, so this is going to be me showing you not. So I'm going to now take a fresh pair of gloves, which do not have any stuff on them as well, and I'm going to don these gloves. Most of these gloves are ambidextrous, which means they can go on either hand. There's no upside, there's no downside. So when you put them on, it doesn't matter, they're on, okay? As long as you don't tear a hole in it or something like that, which means that if you got big hands and small gloves, you're going to probably wind up doing damage. You're going to rip, split, tear, or whatnot. But I have, once again, nothing up my sleeves, got no stuff on my hands, no glow germ or anything like that. Now I'm actually going to take some glow germ, and I am going to liberally put this all over my gloves, because I'm going to be now taking these gloves off in such a manner as to not get anything on me. And I'm trying to get it all up over in places, and enough that no one can say that it wouldn't have easily come off. Now there's an outside chance with me putting as much of this stuff on, I may wind up with a trace particle on my hair or something like this, because this is a powder. But alright, so now I'm going to use the same techniques that I just used a moment ago. I'm going to take and I'm going to pinch the wrist, and I'm going to go slowly, because I do not want to dislodge this powder and put it up into the air and get it back onto myself. So now I'm going to take this glove and I'm going to roll it into the other glove. Now I'm going to take my clean finger, which I currently have no glow germ on myself, and I'm going to come under this glove. I'm going to lift up, get another finger underneath it, and I'm going to gently once again bring this glove to the inside. Oh, there went a piece of glow germ right on my knuckle. I watched it float right onto it. Okay. Now I'm going to roll this in, fold it over. We're now going to discard this glove off camera. And once again, nothing on me other than the one spot that I saw float. Okay guys, I'm going to address what is the popular, what everybody is thinking is the saving grace of society. I'm not going to go into discussions about what this does and doesn't protect you from. There's a lot of information out there, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there are millions of people wearing these things incorrectly for numerous reasons. Number one, these are going to reduce your ability to breathe, a lot less than some of the other things, but people get them, they're wearing them. If you do the proper research, you'll find out what these things do and do not protect you from. There is a difference between an airborne virus or an airborne pathogen versus droplet propelled and bloodborne. I'm not going to go into all of that. However, wearing them wrong and taking them off wrong and all of that stuff is still exposing you at a significant risk if you don't know how to wear them. First of all, I see people when they put these things on, they don't even know how to put the straps on. I see people wearing them like this. Also, if you come in closer, you're going to see that there is a significant gap in between my nose and the mask. All that's doing, if you can feel the air rushing past your eyes and going in, or the air rushing out of your mask and blowing in your eyes, this mask is not doing you any good. It's pulling in contaminants and it's still coming into your breathing zone. The whole point of a mask is for the particulates to actually enter in through the filter media and catch it before it gets into your lungs. All right, I see people wearing it like this too. And if you breathe in through your nose, which most people do, and out the mouth, it's doing nothing. It's supposed to be up here. Also, they have these things. And if you're not used to it, these metal clips, they're supposed to be pushed in and compressed around to conform on your nose. If you're not used to wearing them, just like the first time you ever wore glasses, it was uncomfortable and it probably hurt after a couple of hours. So pushing it down is uncomfortable. Well, people don't do that. People don't like to do things that are uncomfortable. But in order for this mask to properly fit, it has to be pushed in so that way it conforms around your nose and your cheekbones. Now, it's actually making a seal. I feel no air coming out from underneath here and hitting me in the eyes. Unless I go, because then it's taking the whole mask. But if I breathe normally, it's not doing that. The other thing too that I see people doing all the time is I see this. That just totally changed the way that I'm feeling air coming into this mask. Doing this crisscross, people think that that is causing it to make a better seal. I can actually feel air starting to come in because it actually is causing it to bunch. This is incorrect. The only correct way to wear this respirator is like this. The other thing I see people doing all the time is this thing right here. Not only with their masks, but their gloves too. Do whatever talk on the phone, then they reach over, they pick it back up, and they do this bit with it. These things weren't designed for 8-hour, all day long, living in the world use. They were designed for work shifts until you take your first break, whether that be 2 hours or 4 hours. This mask was designed to be disposed of at the end of a task, not at the end of picking up groceries or talking to your neighbor. Saw on the airplane yesterday. So yeah, Fred, I totally understand what you're talking about there. And meanwhile, here's what's happening. All right, so right now you can see that I have nothing on my face. Even with gloves on, even with not gloves on, it doesn't matter. In order to take off this respirator, guess what I see everybody doing? What's on my face now? Do I have gloves on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you do something like this. Or you do something like this. And then you do this bit. Guess what just happened to you?
Just contaminate your face.
You're now exposed or have a greater risk of potential exposure. So guys, without proper knowledge, proper training on how to use this stuff, I see people performing tasks that they think they're safer doing. In reality, they're actually putting themselves at more risk. You need to do a little bit more research. You need to understand what you're doing before you just randomly go out there and do stuff. The other thing too is, I hate to break it to you guys, facial hair and respirators do not really go together. All of this hair right here, this hair is a highway for particulates and hazards to be able to suck in through. So all of you guys out there with the sexy beards, these are not approved for wearing with beards. These are what are referred to as negative pressure respirators. That means you're sucking air in. So that means things are going this way. And they go in, and they go through, and they're up in your breathing zone. Oh, by the way, this little button right here, the only thing that is doing is it's an exhalation port, which makes it easier to be able to breathe out. It doesn't filter anything additional. I know 18 minutes, going on 19 minutes is a long video. However, I hope that this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please contact us at mark@trainemta.com. Once again, I hope this has been helpful and maybe answers some questions and clears up some misconceptions that have been going on. Stay safe and have a great day.